How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going over 5 hot takes that I have for this season for the Vancouver Canucks, this upcoming season. Now, I tried to get as crazy as possible with these takes, but also stay as realistic as possible with these takes. And I do have explanations for every single one of them, so we will go over them a good amount. I also made graphics for all of them because I was bored and I wanted to have fun. And also I wanted to make the video look cool. So, without further ado, let's get into the first one, and the first one is that Demko will stay healthy all year. Now, if you are new to this channel, you are probably new because of the Demko video, and you understand my take a little bit on it. I will go over a little bit of more of the reasoning because I feel like I didn't go over that as much in that video, and I will fix it if I eventually do another video on a different player. But in terms of Demko staying healthy, at this current moment, comparative to last season, right now, he's healthy and skating. His workload can be lessened with how good Lankinen was last year. The team will trust Lankinen a little bit more. So his workload will be lessened. He'll have less time for risk of injury. And I think that Demko is just like in the better spot in terms of health going into this season than he is in the last season. Now, is there a risk for him to get hurt? Yes. Do I think my hope for is just a small little injury that Lankinen and Tolopilo can play about 5 games for, and then Demko's back, and then he plays the rest of the season? That is my hope. If any injury is going to happen, a small injury, that's fine. I don't think there's going to be a major injury to Demko this season, and it's a hot take. So if I'm wrong, it was a hot take. That is probably like my mildest on this list. I do think that Demko stays healthy and that we have a long, prosperous season with him and Lankinen splitting the net more 50-50 than you would have thought last season, especially with how Lankinen has played. Number 2 now. That one's a very easy one, but I've already made a whole video about Demko. I don't need to go over it too much. So now we're up to number 2. This one, it gets a little more spicy. I think Aatu Räty is going to have a breakout year. Why do I think that? I think that he starts lower in the lineup. I don't think he starts immediately 2C. It's got to be Hedel. And he works his way up to either third center, to where he's consistently playing on that third line, with Teddy Blueger still in the lineup, or he somehow has a crazy breakout season. He starts playing on that second line. Do I think he plays center the entire season? No. Maybe at the deadline he moves over to the wing on a higher line. But I definitely do think that Aatu Räty will play better. He's got the tools. He's got everything. The only thing that might be hurting him, especially at the end of the year, he looked really, really good. He looked amazing at the end of the year. If he keeps that up, the only thing that's hurting him at the moment is an injury that he was facing during the Calder Cup playoffs. So that's why Räty wasn't playing for Abbotsford. He was hurt. So if he comes into the season, training camp fully healthy, has a good camp, I think he makes the team no matter if he has a bad camp or a good camp. He plays good on that fourth line, moves up to the third line. Moves up to the second line, maybe. I think at most he'll move up to the third line. But I do think that Aatu Räty is in a prime position to have probably the best breakout season for a Canuck. Carlson's another guy you could say could have a breakout season. Sasson, Baines could have a breakout season. But I think Räty is the best player, prime for a breakout year this season. Lekkerimäki for next season. If I'm wrong about Lekkerimäki, though, and he breaks out this season, I'm not going to complain. Number 3. Now, I'm going through this a little too fast. I do apologize. But number 3 is that I think the Canucks are going to wait until the deadline to get a 2C, and it's either going to be a rental or a guy they lock up long term. Now, I showed Alex Tuch and Christian Dvorak on the screen there. They're both on 1-year deals. Do I think it's going to be them? No. I think Alex Tuch has good loyalty to the Buffalo Sabres and the Buffalo community. I think Alex Tuch probably stays with them. They might shop him a little bit. He's on a 1-year deal, but I do think that he stays. The Canucks were in on Christian Dvorak, so if the Flyers aren't too great, then you could see the Canucks trying to maybe make some calls and be like, hey, is he available? Buffalo, always count on them being not too great. But I really, like every year I hope Buffalo does good, but always count on them not doing too great. But I do think the Canucks look for a 2C at the deadline if they don't find one from now and then. I think the smarter move is to not do it. Run with what we have. If you start to slow down a little bit, shop a little more. It doesn't have to be directly at the deadline. In the season, though, they're not going to get one before training camp. Unless prices go down drastically, and I don't see that happening. Because I think the only people who let prices go down are Vancouver, because media and the way the team has been handling a lot of stuff as of recently. And do I think that they keep that center? I do think that picking up a center at the deadline, the 2C kind of guy, gives the Canucks the advantage of being able to talk to him throughout the offseason to try to get that contract in if they want to keep him. If not, that's fine. You get a guy for the playoffs. And there we go. Transition into number 4. We're already at 4. The Canucks are going to finish top 2 in the Pacific Division. Everything has to fall in place, but I do think there is a possibility that this happens. A possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think the Canucks are most likely in either third or a wild card spot. The Central Division's a little strong, so they might be in more of a battle for third. But if everything goes right for them, then they could finish top 2. Now, this means the Oilers, it doesn't mean they have to fall off. It means the Canucks have to have everything go right for them, and they have to at least play better than the Oilers or the Golden Knights. Who do I think that's going to be? I think the Golden Knights, never count out McDavid and Draisaitl, but I feel like the Oilers have definitely taken a step back in terms of their roster this season. But never count out those two. Never count out the Oilers with McDavid and Draisaitl. It could be Vegas. Vegas could have a step back. But they just picked up Marner, so it doesn't really make sense that they would have a step back. And they're missing Pietrangelo. Their defense looks a little weak. Their goaltending, Aiden Hill's pretty good, but not as strong. But their offense is there. It's Vegas. They're always good. Edmonton is the team that I think it could happen to where that the Oilers have the down start and the Canucks have the good start, and then it kind of evens out near the end of the season. That's what would have to happen. We'd have to have a 23-24 thing where everything goes right for Vancouver, everything goes wrong for Edmonton, and then it slowly just kind of goes back a little bit, but Vancouver stays ahead, but Vegas is ahead of them as well. So, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Do I hope it happens? For my sanity, yes. Now, last but not least, number 5. I think that Elias Pettersson is going to have a bounce-back season. Now, why I think this is going to happen is... What's going on with the video? Why is it acting like that? What's going on with the video?